Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is the escaped Civil War slave who impersonated a Confederate captain. This, by the way, I'm Kris. Welcome back. Before we get started, this is the American Story U.S. History Documentaries. Click on that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And there's a little thanks button here if you want to click on that, donate to the channel, request a video. Your name sponsors that video. The reason why I'm doing this video is about a man named Robert Smalls. And I have a little book here, Be Free or Die, the amazing story of Robert Smalls, escape from slavery to Union hero. I haven't read it. Had it for a while. Read other books. Have not read that one. Saw this and thought, yep, I'm doing it. So that's all there is to it. And we'll break it down into two videos, two 20-minute videos. And here we go.
Anybody else here?
So what we gonna do?
We either lock him up in the stateroom or we kill him.
Oh, I ain't ready to kill nobody, Robert. That wasn't part of the plan.
What about for our families?
We ain't never killed nobody before.
Right, Robert. I know about this, Robert.
It's April of 1861. Abraham Lincoln is the new leader of a country on the verge of being broken in two. Here in one of the South's largest ports, Charleston, South Carolina, the air is filled with talk among white slaveholders of secession. In the last 4 months, 7 southern states have voted to leave the Union. War appears to be inevitable. For Robert Smalls, an enslaved man working in the harbor, it is just another day of trying to earn enough money to feed his family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Robert Smalls was born into slavery in Beaufort, South Carolina. He was born to a black mother and a white father who may have been his owner.
Put your back into that, Robert.
He started working at a young age like so many other enslaved children.
When he was 12, his master decided to send him to Charleston, which at the time was really the big city.
If an owner had an enslaved person but didn't have a need for their labor, they would rent them out.
For skilled enslaved people, blacksmiths, carpentry work, they're going to have a little bit more freedom in mobility. There's even going to be some opportunities for them to collect parts of their wages. But please don't get it mistaken. Every enslaved person is being denied their humanity, the freedom of their time, and even their citizenship.
This was still slavery, just in a different form.
When he first got to Charleston, Robert just had odd jobs here and there. He grew up around boats, and he ended up being attracted to the docks and came to the employment on this boat called the Planter. The Planter was a 150-foot or so side wheel steamer that before the Civil War was just a kind of a transport boat.
All right, where's the ballast at? We had 200 pounds, is that?
Yes, sir. It's inside.
I love it.
All right. We're good.
Let's go.
All right, boy.
Smalls is allowed to keep just $1 of his $15 per month salary. But he's a savvy entrepreneur. He spends his dollar on produce and other goods, then resells them for a profit around Charleston Harbor.
Eggs right here. Eggs right here.
So, whereabouts is you headed?
Morse Island.
Alfred Gourdine is an engineer on the planter,
Let me see if I can help you out with that.
and like Smalls, he is enslaved.
I believe if you go about this way, you can
No, the north side of the island. The south is closed.
Yes, you could try going, well, maybe Robert, you mind helping this fine gentleman navigate his way to Morris Island?
All right, Gordon. All right.
Robert Smalls can, help you better.
My cabin's asked me to pick up a load of cotton at the Colliers, the north side of Morris Island. Can I get to there from here?
Yeah. Now, once you pass the bite of the bend, you should be fine. Now, have you ever made a French lander before?
Yeah, of course.
All right, because you need to, because the currents are strong in here.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, boy.
I mean, how long it's been? He still don't know the harbor? You know he just bought that yellow house on Queen Street?
Don't worry about him, Robert. There's going to be a war, and wars bring opportunities. You'll see.
At first, he was just a laborer. He was loading and unloading the boat. But again, he had this knack, this predilection toward achievement and toward doing things.
Did you find eggs over here? Find eggs.
All right, now don't forget, we're gonna be running hot.
Then very quickly was recognized for that.
So as we come out of the harbor, how many fathoms are right outside the harbor?
4, sir.
Look at you, all right. Boy, you got it. Keep getting it.
Hey, you!
Where's your badge?
In Charleston,
on now.
hired out workers,
boy.
like Smalls, are forced to display stamped tags listing their registration number and their trade.
You keep this visible now, here.
Yes, sir.
A constant visual reminder of their place in society.
I know you talked about taking this way down the harbor, but I've been told that the tides are low down there. You might have to take a different route.
All right. Time to reroute it. Good job, Rob. How long until we get full steam?
Gourdine says about an hour, sir.
Captain, I need you at the docks. I'll be right there. This time, why don't you take her out?
Yes, sir. Gourdine, going home.
Take that walk with you. How'd it go today?
Didn't do so good.
Really?
Didn't sell much of anything today.
Usually sell out.
And it's gonna kill me.
Don't be too hard on yourself, man.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna tell Hannah and Linty.
You're bright. One of the brightest men I know. Say hello to the missus.
To only keep $1 and then to buy produce and stuff like that and then resell it. That is creative. Except when you have days like this. Oh, hold on. Be right back. All right. Sorry about that.
What you doing there, sweetie?
Just like her husband, Hannah Smalls has been hired out by her enslaver, Samuel Kingman. The Smalls have negotiated a price with Kingman to allow them to live together with their 2 young children.
Right there. All right.
You found him.
There is even an arrangement in place for Robert to eventually purchase the freedom of his family. But until he can save the hundreds of dollars that would take, they live at the mercy of their enslavers in a 2-room home above a horse stable, which Robert keeps clean in lieu of rent.
You home?
The Black family unit and their desire to keep them together was extremely important. And in some cases, if it meant life or death, they would fight to keep those bonds together.
How was your day?
Steamed up to Sullivan's Island. Got back a bit early. Tried to sell my wares, but wasn't too busy.
He knew that in an instant, his family could be broken apart. And he loved his wife, he loved his children, and he wanted to try to keep them together.
I just don't get it. All the work I do, and that's all I have to show for it? I should be the captain of my own boat. Nobody knows that harbor better than me.
You will be the captain of your own boat. You will be. But in the meantime, Captain, if you want some dinner, how about you go fetch us some firewood?
As Smalls himself would later say.
Our lives were one long eternal night. Not even an occasional silver lining in the sky of our existence to bid us hope for a brighter future or a happier day.
The morning of April 12, 1861, thrust their lives into even deeper turmoil.
It's the war. It started.
Confederate forces launch an attack on Fort Sumter in Charleston's harbor. The Civil War has begun. In the coming months, the struggle for Charleston Harbor grows more intense. While the Confederacy holds on to the city, its waterways, and its surrounding forts, just outside the harbor, the United States Navy forms a blockade, severely limiting the amount of cotton being shipped out and the amount of commercial goods and military supplies coming in.
Only a few more.
I got you. Not too high on those stacks. The ship gonna be rocking and rolling. You don't want that ammunition falling down.
Amidst this unrest, Robert Smalls finally sees hope.
That's a big one, John.
War creates chaos, but it also creates opportunities to fundamentally change a society in ways that no one ever envisioned.
One of the immediate impacts of the war is that Smalls' ship, the Planter, is leased to the Confederate Navy.
One of the interesting sort of paradoxes of Robert's life was that for a period he was working on a Confederate boat and in some ways working to do the business of the Confederacy.
Careful now.
The Confederacy is desperate for labor for its army and its navy. And what labor do they have? Enslaved people. As an enslaved person, literally from moment to moment, you don't have control or agency or dominion over your own body, over your own efforts. They've got to hold on to this enslaved labor because this is going to then free up white men to shoulder guns and fight. And they already don't have enough white men to match the Union.
Captain, Gordine needs you, sir.
Captain Charles Relier comes to rely on Smalls to pilot the ship around the blockaded, mine-filled harbor.
Check the boiler feed first!
From his vantage point in the wheelhouse, Smalls studies the movements of the Confederate Navy
As far as the eye can see, really.
and the gestures of Captain Relier.
Yes, sir.
Letting out steam! See him? There it is. Look for the woman I'm about to go with. Oh, yeah? I need about 2 of these.
Keep a sharp eye on us now, Rob.
Yes, sir.
Rumor has it we got Yankee spies in our midst. Have a good night, boys.
Smalls notes the ship's white crew breaking an important naval protocol. They leave the planter at night, while their enslaved crewmates keep watch alone.
It was their leaving us in charge that started Robert Smalls to thinking.
I was just going to say, if you're leaving the boat, yeah, what are you expecting? You can't be mad if they take off in the middle of the night.
You gonna join us, Robert? He was a bright, smart man. Oh, come on, Robert. Come have a drink with us. We don't work hard all week. At least you could join us for a few.
I need to learn this harbor as well.
Like you don't know it already.
My brother always working.
I know. Leave that up to the captain. Well, unless you want to be the captain. That's right.
Robert the captain.
Oh, Captain Small.
Captain Small.
Don't you try putting on that hat, huh?
Yeah, try that hat on.
That's right.
Yeah, put it on.
Go ahead, put it on.
Put it on. You really gonna do it?
I didn't think you were going to do it.
Come on, go ahead. On the way, hotel.
Looking good, Captain Small.
Where we going, Captain?
Let's go to freedom.
Freedom. How that sound, fellas? It's the freedom.
It sound about 100 miles away. What it sound like?
You never know with Captain Smalls, right?
I'll be there. Okay.
Ambitious. A little more to that.
Mind if I join you?
Time.
You said it yourself. Don't nobody know this harbor like we do. If we leave at night, while the captains and the officers are in town,
You know how many guns the U.S. Navy got pointed at this harbor? If we hit one of them torpedoes, she might blow.
we know where they are, Gordine.
Smalls reveals that he has been thinking of an escape.
You thought this through, Robert?
Yes. And in God I trust.
Dean, I need your help in the boiler room.
Just by sharing his thoughts, he was putting himself and the crew in grave danger.
Okay, Robert. Okay.
But he's also not sharing his thoughts with random people. These are people that he trusts. But given the situation, I could understand a slave, even if they're your friend or family, not wanting any retaliation done to them. I could see them turning him in. Yeah.
I was frightened at first. But when Robert got through talking, I was satisfied that he knew what he was talking about. It couldn't have entered into their minds that we would attempt to run away.
In a way, they seriously underestimated what someone like Smalls could do with the skills and the training that he got in that line of work.
The next night, we let all the others into the secret.
Now we make way down the harbor. Now once we get by Fort Sumner, I need you to get everybody below the deck and keep the children quiet.
I understand what I need to do, but what if they catch you?
then I shall be shot.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that, but if it does, I'll be right by your side.
Now, I was telling Hannah.
Small's plan is to commandeer the CSS Planter and deliver it to the nearest U.S. ship blockading the harbor, several miles away. Before leaving the dock, they'd need to heat the boilers and hope the volume of smoke coming out of the steamer stack didn't raise suspicion. Next, they'd need to pass a series of armed forts while avoiding submerged mines, and pray that the planter could survive the turbulence of the open ocean. And what's more, they would make this incredible escape with their families on board.
And once we leave the deck and make way down the harbor, we'll pick up the women and children on the rowboats here.
We need to get to the Union line ourselves, then come back for our families.
It's too dangerous. We could be shot, shelled, or hung, or sent back to New Orleans.
No! We need to stick together. Now, I know it's risky, okay? But we have to stick together and do this in one night.
After talking the matter over for 2 hours,
I'm with you, Robert.
every man shook hands with Robert Smalls and pledged himself to be ready whenever called upon.
This was no ordinary act of slave resistance. They are risking being sold back into slavery, or they're risking punishment, which could be death.
The question now is when? And every day that passes is one more day that the conspirators need to keep this extraordinary plan a secret.
Come on, ladies. Watch your step now.
Our wives and children frequently came down to the boat in the evening so that their presence on board would excite no suspicion.
Everybody good?
We didn't give the secret away to them, however.
Apart from Small's wife, Hannah, none of the women know what is being planned. But they're being asked to spend an increasing amount of time on the planter,
Thank you all for coming.
so that once the day finally arrives, their presence won't arouse any suspicion.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. We'll be back with part 2. I apologize if I'm not talking enough. This is a movie, and I feel like I'm watching it as a movie. So we're going to end it here. Be back with part 2. And until then, have a good day. Have a good night.